Into Champ Select, we will be seeing what's going on here, and right now I would definitely be considering banning out some of those tanky champions like Ryze and Urgot that Moscow 5 is always very well known for.
Yep, HCL did have the option, but they decided to go ahead, decline, and go for last ban, last pick. They will be on Purple Side, given M5 first ban, first pick. Ari going to be the first one out of there. I also wanted to make a little note that the winner of this match will go on to the round of 8 to play WinFact. And we saw them 2-1 over Teamless, a very impressive series. And if you haven't gotten the opportunity to see that, I highly recommend you do go ahead and check that out. Shen being banned by HCL and coming back with the Morgana. We got a lot of AP mids being banned up for M5 here.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious if it's just that they know that their mid player is maybe uncomfortable in certain roles. M5, actually banning out Urgot. So, they probably wouldn't first pick Urgot or anything, but if the other team likes playing Urgot, then obviously that's a ban, that is very common and just an all-around strong champion. Now, I'm curious, Morgana and Ari, they're both very safe mids that, are very easy to lane with and farm easily, and then in team fights have a lot of control without a, huge amount of effort. I'm curious if that's just something where Alex Sitch is like, hey, we're going to take out these easy champions. You're going to have to play something maybe you're not as comfortable with, and then I'm going to crush you with my,
I will crush.
I will crush you with my Moscow hands or whatnot. But
yeah. But Warwick has also been a pretty popular ban, also in the solo queue, because he's just. He gets in top lane.
He's annoying.
Max out that queue.
That's all he is. He's annoying.
Yeah.
And I think he's annoying at least.
No, he is annoying. But here's the thing, though. He's annoying.
He's not as annoying as York, though.
He's not as annoying as York, but, he's also equally annoying in jungle once he hits 6 as well. He just comes in, suppress for the gank, easy kills. If he can manage to, beat, get his timing correct when whatever lane he needs to be in. Janna, Olaf being picked up for HCL. So, Nocturne more likely going to be in a jungle. Olaf, he's got some options. He could be top. He could be jungle. We'll see once we actually see the swaps going on.
We have seen Nocturne top a couple of times.
We have.
Darien, a couple of the top laners that he's played, like when he was playing Shyvana top, obviously, Shyvana was more of a jungler, but what it had was pushing capabilities. And so it's those top bruisers with pushing capabilities, lots of movement speed, so he is kind of similar to Shyvana in that regards. But you can, push up the wave and then go counter jungler, go roam looking for kills or whatnot. So there is that option where they could be playing him top. It is a little bit more unusual, but even so, it is very aggressive. And now with the Ashe pick, it actually will almost certainly be Nocturne in the jungle. And so Nocturne and Ashe, that combo is just absolutely ridiculous. One of the strongest initiating combos in the game.
Ashe gets in with the arrow. Nocturne's close by, comes in with the ult on an already stunned enemy. And it's pretty easy to get a fear off on a stunned enemy because they don't have a whole lot of opportunity to actually run, get away from the leash, and it can spell pretty big disaster for whoever decides to go down in bot lane. Since Soraka, fantastic, we get the heal on Nocturne, we got the extra health, we got the armor, so Nocturne's going to be a little bit more tanky when he goes in for those initiations later on. So we do have Corki being picked up here by HCL. Evelyn more likely just going to be a placeholder for another champion. Hopefully we'll see if they pick Evelyn, we'll see what substitute we're actually going to be seeing in there, or they might actually play Evelyn. I highly doubt it, but hey, it's stranger things have happened.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Corki right now is that Corki Janna, you do have a really excellent harass, but you can farm very easily. The concern is that, Ashe obviously outranges Corki, so Ashe and Soraka is actually, even though, maybe in the dueling situations they're weaker, obviously Corki would be at a huge advantage when you have those, head-on fights going on, but Ashe with the range advantage can maybe get off some free harass, kite effectively with the volley, and then picking up Ken in top, so going to be a very safe lane, doesn't really have to worry about, gank pressure as much, and I would be very curious. Pantheon top could definitely work. We have seen Pantheon top a couple of times, but it is a very unusual lane. Could also be mid lane Pantheon, though I really wouldn't pick that with, out knowing what the counters are going to be.
But yeah, but even then, Kennen, if you're trying to, get some harass with your lightning rush and try and get those last hits, Pantheon can just come in, stun, spears. We have a lot of punishment opportunity for Pantheon if Kennen does decide to go wherever Kennen may be. It's kind of we're looking for some great harass and to shut Kennen down when he comes in for those last hits. Zillion, if we do get picked now, we're not quite sure where Zillion may actually go quite yet. Soraka or Zillion could be in the mid. We've seen support Zillion before. He's there. We want to get a lot of damage in. We just want to throw the bombs on the enemy if they get a little bit too close in for those last hits.
Yeah, and I'm actually really liking the Jax pick a lot more than Pantheon. The concern with Pantheon, obviously he has that great mobility. He can have that ultimate to, have a little bit more map control, but he doesn't really have a lot of escape, so it's very easy to chase him down in lane, particularly when we have the mobility of Kennen. Kennen just runs in, ults Pantheon, you have Olaf ganking. Very quickly, that's a dead Pantheon, and, then all of a sudden he's getting zoned out of lane with the ranged harass. It's just not a good situation, but Jax, on the other hand, he still has a lot of burst damage. As we've seen, a number of times before, Jax versus Kennen is a pretty common lane matchup. Kennen has a little bit of a harass advantage because Jax doesn't have any early sort of sustain. However, he does have plenty of bursts, and he does have the stun, so Jax can jump in, stun Kennen, get his damage, get out of there, and now Kennen's a little bit scared, sits back a little bit timidly. We will have Udyr in the jungle, most likely, so that's definitely going to be a nice, fast jungle. Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense.
I think we may have
we're going to have Udyr top. Oh, Kennen mid. You're right. Yeah.
Kennen mid, Udyr top, Olaf jungle more likely.
I sat there. I looked at it, and then I was like, wait a second. We already had Olaf. What am I saying?
Yeah, we're taking a little bit of swaps here, so we're just going to see who's actually going on what. And hopefully we won't be seeing Kennen. But Alex, we're actually going to have a Zillion in the mid. So whenever Kennen comes in to try and get those last hits, enjoy some bombs. We hope you like, you can't carry all these bombs. Here, have like 2 of them. Just done.
And so it's interesting. Olaf and Udyr are both, really aggressive top laners. So they're, even jungling speed. Udyr has a little bit more ganking presence, but Udyr, I'm not positive who would have the advantage over Jax, but clearly they're more comfortable with Udyr. Udyr obviously is very strong against melee champions. He has the shield in the early regen, so he can exchange damage with Jax and then regen it up, and he does have that slight advantage over Olaf in that concern. Though Olaf does have a little bit more burst damage, and with the short cooldowns, he is very strong there. But it will be interesting to see. He's going to try and shut down Jax, which is, I don't know, going to be difficult, but we'll have to see. And then Zillion in that mid lane. We haven't seen Zillion mid for a while, but he was always a really fun mid lane to watch. And he's, against most mid champions, does incredibly well. He can beat most people 1v1 mid with his bomb harass. And then here's the thing. Kennen has a nice chunk of burst damage, but it's not usually like a one-hit kill combo, like champions with like LeBlanc or something. You have this build-up time where there's anticipation. You're like, oh, Kennen's running at me. Now Kennen's throwing on his ultimate. I'm slowly dying. Well, Zillion throws off his ultimate. He's like, oh, boop, I'm back. I just burned your ultimate. I have shorter cooldowns, and now I'm going to exchange damage with you. And so it is a very nice matchup, that Zillion versus Kennen. And then the big thing is getting Zillion into those team fights later in the game. He will be very farmed in that mid lane. It'll primarily, turn into a kind of a farm lane. Though Zillion, you can never underestimate his bombs, and his early bomb damage can often pick up kills, but he doesn't have an ignite, which means he's primarily not going for kills. He's primarily looking to just farm. And then in those team fights, having the revive on Jax and Nocturne when Kennen's ultimate is down, when the cooldowns are down, Kennen loses a lot of damage. So you have a nice chunk of burst, but then you lose a lot of damage. Now we're going to have a revived super late game carry jumping at you and just wrecking your face. Come on, that's ridiculous.
However, Kennen does have an opportunity to really take over mid lane early, because if Zillion wants to get that harass in, Zillion, he has a lot of great damage available to him. We've got the bomb, bomb, rewind, bomb. That's a huge burst of damage. However, it's ridiculously expensive to pull that off. We're talking like upwards of like 300 mana for just like harass options. Like, it's like somewhere in the range like 200, 300 like per harass, and he doesn't have that big of a pool early on. He really needs items to get that mana regen. If HCL is actually good to steal the blue often, to deny it, to keep it away from Zillion, he's going to have a lot of mana issues, and this could really open up Kennen to go ahead and take mid pretty convincingly. So
there are a number of things. It's the mana issues, but then Zillion, his armor and MR early in the game,
very low.
They're actually very low. Yeah, level 1, I believe it's like 10 armor. It might be like 8 armor even. So it's like 8 to 10 armor for Zillion. Obviously, he's going to have some armor from runes and masteries, which will help him a little bit, but it's still pretty low early, so Kennen can get some harass. And then we talked about it, that ignite versus the teleport. Kennen has a little bit more kill potential. So all those factors coming in to play.
Yeah, and even if Zillion did have the ignite, like, it's just bomb ignite that can, while it's fantastic harass, it can only do so much. And Zillion in the mid, and he's not really looking for kills. We just want to farm. We really want to farm, and Ken is looking to be aggressive. But we do have a nice kit available to us. If we do get into a sticky situation, we do have the speed buff, or slow, depending on how he wants to use it. And once he hits 6, he'll be able to revive himself. So I think we were just trying to counteract an aggressive Kennen. And if we're good early on, we may even see Nocturne pass off the first blue to Zillion. It's not out of the question, just to get a little bit of an edge up in mid. But you know what? We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, and one thing to consider for exHCL, which can never be understated, is having that Janna movement speed, and that's always something you have to consider. Janna, you always kind of look at Janna for the CC control that she has in fights, and for that counter initiation, the shield, obviously. But the movement speed, does really help as far as early game control. And Nocturne versus Olaf, they do have similar jungling speeds. Olaf is actually a little bit faster, but he does tend to get a little bit lower. But they're basically the same, so there's not really that big of an issue with counter jungling. It really a lot of it comes down to how they want to play it. Olaf is a little bit stronger in 1v1 situations, but Nocturne did pick up that exhaust, so that benefits him. But the big thing is that Olaf, he will have that passive from Janna, so he can provide a little bit more map control to go against the huge map control that Nocturne has with his ultimate, obviously, once he hits 6. And there we go, the peace-loving hippie Zillion. Always a pleasure to see. But, yeah.
Yep, and also there are a lot of good candidates on M5 for true damage to just really be effective with. I mean, we could just true damage Nocturne or Jax. Nocturne's going to be getting the wriggles more than likely. Jax, naturally, he does eventually build some sustain in terms of things like Gunblade, or we may even see a double wriggles here on M5 for a little bit more dragon control. But you get some true damage on Soraka, Ashe, or Zillion. They're pretty squishy champs. That's going to be a huge chunk if we actually see Veggie max out the true damage first. But once again, we're talking about hitting the team fight phase, and we also do still have the Zillion ult available to us. So hopefully we'll be on point with those ults.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, how Jax and Nocturne are going to build, because like you said, the wriggles, it will help Nocturne with clearing speed, and it will help them with, taking Dragon and Baron, but I really would be kind of surprised if they went for a double wriggles, or, if either of them went wriggles. Now, Jax might consider it against Udyr, because that is going to be a very aggressive lane, and so wriggles obviously will help him with lane control. However, because a lot of their damage is based off of, their ability to get into that late game really quickly, wriggles kind of puts you behind a little bit, through the mid game. It makes you not as strong, but we do have exHCL coming down here. Genja just barely getting into that bush in time, does see them coming, so they will be able to play defensively here.
So we see HCL we're crowding around Dragon. We're trying to get our invader. We want to see where M5 is. M5, they're guarding a little bit, all points, but Darian is actually up, scouting around by the red. We may actually see if Veggie decides to see him out. We got Diamond Prox also waiting out in front of the blue.
I'm just waiting for Olaf to come up and do his race, and then Jax is sitting there and he's like, well, this is awkward.
Well,
but
he's Jax, not Shaco. What's going on here? Where your Jack in the boxes? Come on.
So now the interesting thing is, because he's starting at blue, which is very common on Olaf, having that spam ability is huge. Because he's starting on blue, Darian is going to have free race here, and this ward won't pick him up. It just doesn't have the vision range, the angle that it's at. Actually, let me check. That's actually very close. No, he should. As long as he hits the wall, he'll be fine.
Yeah, we may.
They did pick him up, so they saw him.
Okay, they know he's there. Something is amiss in the HCL jungle. His name is Darian. He's taken a few things. But we actually see also HCL coming in to try and get some harass. We want to make sure that M5 does not go for the small golems. We harass him enough to keep him out of there. And we got a bomb on Zillion. I think he actually stole that small creep.
He did. He stole the big wraith. He was able to take that. Is there a different vision thing? I don't know. He was able to take that, so getting that quick advantage, preventing the blue golems, from M5. That's definitely huge because they're primarily looking to farm and get up to level 6. That's when we'll start seeing the aggression from them in bottom lane. But Corki and Janna want to take advantage of their kill potential early, and obviously any level advantage would kind of negate that. So being able to stop that is nice, and because they already knew M5 was on the defensive. They knew they could come in pretty safely. But so far, Udyr getting some nice exchange damage with Jax up top. Is able to kind of wear him down a little bit, even with the quick advantage because Jax has a couple more CS so far.
And we see that we got Udyr. He bought Tiger Stance first, so we're looking to trade Burst with Jackson whenever he comes in. And second skill, we're actually getting Bear Stance. So now we're just going to try and keep him away and keep him low. And here comes Veggie. We got double buff. Axe, can we? Oh, we may not be able to get what we need. Darian does Leap Strike and Flash away. But we do have an Ignite still saved on Kiki's here, so we decided not to blow it. If we ignited, we could have gotten that, but we're forcing him out of lane. He's ridiculously low, about 100 health.
Yeah, and so just being able to shut down Jax's farm early is absolutely huge. Obviously, as Udyr gets a little bit stronger in the lane, if Udyr gets an early advantage, then he's just going to be so tanky, it will be tough for Jax to force him out. But some nice damage coming off here from Corki and Janna. They can exchange very well. And the big thing is baiting out the heal onto one of them,
Genja
and then actually coming in.
Low.
There's the exhaust. He throws off the Ignite onto Genja. They won't be able to pick up that kill, but a huge early advantage for them.
Yeah, we do have an Ignite down. We do also have an exhaust down, I believe. Yeah, we had the exhaust from Genja down as well, just to try and save our hides just slightly. But bot lane, we're looking to be really aggressive here. And Gregor is actually looking pretty healthy right now. We're still going to have those Janna shields available to us. Now I just need to see if we can actually get Ghost of Pepper to heal up Genja quickly enough so we can stay in the lane. And Darian top lane being now we actually see Kiki's actually being pretty aggressive top, pushing pretty hard. We got a pretty sizable wave. So you just got to make sure to see if Darian can actually go ahead and farm effectively under tower. And we got Alex Ich in mid with those bombs, farming pretty well. 23-22. It's an even mid lane so far. And Gregor's actually going back. Where are we buying? We're getting a Doran's Blade AD Kennen in the mid to try and counteract the Zillion.
Wow, and so actually, now that's kind of interesting. And I would have expected AP Kennen just because they don't really have much magic damage. We have some magic damage from Udyr, so he will have a little bit of burst there. But primarily, it's a physical damage team now. And AD Kennen definitely has a lot more lane control. And as we talked about, the low armor on Zillion, once again, some nice harass going off. But you see, Ghosty Pepper, as long as he's able to heal up Genja, they do have a little bit better sustain. So Ash is actually in a good position here against Corki. But the big thing, Kennen will have a little bit more control mid. He is building AP, so he's AP runes and masteries, but he's just buying the early Dorans so that he can win the lane. So, he knows, all right, Zillion is really difficult to deal with in lane as an AP champion. If I have burst, then I'm not going to have enough to, kill him after the ultimate. So getting a little bit more attack damage in lane gives him some lane control so he can win that matchup. And then he will have the magic damage later on, which they desperately need.
Yep, so we make a little bit of working towards a little bit of a hybrid build here, but that, Dorans, you get the extra health, you get the extra damage, you get a little bit of everything you need, and, again, especially against someone like Zillion who just, bomb, and that's really the extent of your harass. If we're going to be getting close to creeps, we want to make sure that we're as effective as we can, get as much damage as we can, or we may even just need the little bit of extra 10 AD just to try and ensure, that we go in for last hits that we actually get them.
Yeah, and I just can't. I was scared for a second, honestly, of them running a all-physical comp against Soraka because of the armor buff.
An all-physical comp against Jax.
Right, Jax and Soraka, that would have been terrifying. But we do see some nice damage going off. And with the volley, they do have enough damage now to burst down that shield so that they can prevent some of that damage. But they are controlling the lane very well. Ashe versus Corki is actually really even so far. And obviously there is the threat that Corki already has that kind of kill potential, and then Ashe, once she hits 6 with Nocturne, that's going to be devastating. But Corki generally pretty safe in lane. It was a smart pick with the Valkyrie. Even with the Ashe arrow, once the disable's out, he can usually escape, so it will be difficult for them to pick up kills.
We do have a Nocturne being estimated where he is, and it looks like HCL was actually right. He is still wandering around in Bot River, and we also see Kiki's here wandering down a little bit. We just want to get some ward coverage down. We want to make sure that we're pushing really far top lane for HCL. We just want to make sure we don't get ganked. And Nocturne, he can actually approach the lane from pretty far away. He's like, all right, that's about where he's going to be, right in front of Baron, if he's going to go ahead and ult on in.
But Udyr and Jax are dueling now, and Nocturne's coming in. He's almost in range. The creep does have vision of him. He does have the ultimate, so he will be coming in. He's actually just going to hold on to it, but there it goes with the burst from Jax.
You had the ward. You had the ward in the river.
He knew he was done. He was like, oh, well, this sucks.
But yeah, we could have Bear Stance. We had Ghost available to us. We could have gotten to our tower. But hey, we put the ward down there, and even so far down, it didn't do a whole lot
Oh,
for us. But
well.
we do have a DC on him as well. We may have had an issue, but we'll see in a moment. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so hopefully everything's okay. But regardless, giving Jax that early advantage is going to be huge. You saw Udyr generally pretty strong. Obviously has a sustained advantage over Jax, and so they are trading damage very evenly. And so then when both of them get low, obviously Udyr can heal up and does take advantage of that lane. But even so, there is a lot of burst damage from Jax to be dealt with. And so we see, mid lane, exH just having great control here, getting the early Dorans for a little bit of regen, so not going to be building like a fast Catalyst or something, which might be expected. He might still build it.
Yeah.
It's just usually you don't expect to see a Rod and a bunch of Dorans. But, we'll have to see. Corki actually coming in on Genja forces the arrow. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing that he's not going to have that for any early aggression later. And he's actually coming on to Gosu Pepper. There's the Ignite, the exhaust going off on both of them. The bomb almost taking him down. Can he get the angle? Genja very close, picks up the kill, but the flash from Gregol able to grab it. And now the TP coming in from Zilean. He's going to have the movement speed for Genja so he can get that one last slow. Can exH get in range? He will not be able to.
So a little bit of a waste on the teleport for Alex. He's there for moral support, really. But we also see Veggie. You're going to see him spotted near the dragon area, but now Alex, he has to get back to mid. We're allowing Gregol to free farm just a little bit. 73 to 71, so now we're going to have a little bit of a creep lead here. We may actually see him also go around, take the Wraith, or even go through and steal Wraiths. They actually have a ward. HCL has a ward in front of M5's Wraiths, so they know when Nocturne's going to be there. They also got to know when it's safe to even try and go in for a steal on those as well.
Yeah, now with that slight advantage top lane, you see Jax very quickly is able to burst down the shield. When the shield's down, he's able to get some damage in as well onto Udyr. So that is working pretty well. Udyr is going to tend to push the lane. He has for the most part here, which kind of denies Olaf ganking opportunities. And right now he is pushed up a little bit. But, with the ward, Darian's going to be fine there. And so Olaf not really having those opportunities. However, we do see exH and Diamond Prox coming down here for this dragon, and they will kill it pretty quickly. We do have that mid-reds, and then we actually have a fight going on here. Gregol going to be dueling it out with Ashe for a little bit.
But look, the placement of the pink ward on M5, they don't see the ward in the pit, and we got Gregol here. He's in the middle of everything. Is someone going to be able to grab that dragon? We got the ult coming from Diamond Prox. We want to make sure we get away. And we do actually have M5 grabbing that dragon. Gregol's out in front, but exH does fall in the pit. But we got the revive in on Diamond Prox, but it may not actually be too much of a big deal. And we got the Jaina ult displacing everyone, singling out Diamond Prox. He will fall next. And we got Darian. He's flashing in. We're getting aggressive. We still are trying to want to make something of this engagement. M5, we got the dragon, but we also lost two guys. So gold-wise is a bit of an even exchange. But look at the dragon pit. Look at the ward inside the pit. I'm pretty sure we actually did.
It's a memorial for Zilean.
It is. I'm pretty sure M5 with that pink placement just barely out of range to see the ward and be able to clear it.
Yeah, and the big issue is it was an even exchange for gold. Dragon is generally worth about 2 kills. However, Jax missing out on farm in that top lane. We do have some creeps being denied, particularly that tank minion, so that's going to be huge. So Udyr able to come back into lane a little bit and get a quick advantage, and obviously any deaths are huge. So that is an advantage for exHCL. We do have the blue buff on Corki as well, so he is going to be perfectly safe farming against this lane. But with the harass from Genja, we'll see whether or not Nocturne tries to come in here. And with that arrow, they can try and burst him down real quick.
Yep. And real quick before we go back to the action, hey, if you're ever playing a game and Dragon's being pink warded, if Baron's being pink warded, but they don't have an Oracles, put the ward right inside the lip of the pit, because it's we have a little bit of a vision it's a little bit harder to get vision on a ward inside those areas, and hey, it keeps those areas warded, and sometimes those pink wards will miss them.
Yeah, that's always a nice place to drop it right there, but we see Darian getting some nice burst. Will back off for a second. Is very safe to farm now in this top lane. It has a 15 CS advantage over Udyr. He will have a little bit because he's pushing in, but Jax just, being really aggressive here. He has the early phage, so he will have some nice taking capabilities. I'll be curious to see whether or not he's building into a Trinity Force. That is a pretty common build right now for Jax.
Yeah, we got the phage,
or if we see like a Frozen Heart or something.
Right, we got the phage usually for Jax. You see them build the phage or the Sheen first, and this is pure indication that we want to go for a Trinity Force. We want to be tanking. Kiki's actually getting dove here on his own tower. We had the Ignite go in on the Darian, but it's not going to be doing too much. He will recall. We'll get back safely, but Veggie's here. He's got something to say about it. If we lead him actually into the bush, we may actually see Darian. We'll be able to leap strike away. Now we're just going to chill out for a second.
And so there's just so much burst damage on Jax right now. He is very strong in those 1v1 kind of situations. We see Gregol again being extremely aggressively in this bottom lane. Goes to Pepper going very low, has to flash out of there, still goes down. The arrow from Genja isn't going to be able to save him, so they are even. But
but we got Gregol coming around. Kennen, we are spotted with the vision on that arrow. We got the ult. We're going in for a dive. Genja's running the wrong way. We were just accepting our own fate here, trying to see if we couldn't get that kill on Gregol, but we will not. 2 kills down bot lane. Really quick. Good job, HCL. We know that, yeah.
The heal from Super A's Gregol getting very low there. One more tower shot. It looked like he was maybe going to go down, but was going to be okay. So, being able to pick up those kills is definitely huge, and that's what they want out of that aggressive bot lane.
Now we got Alex with the blue buff going to be returning to mid, so he's going to be able to get a little bit more extra harass down with that extra mana regen. But I do like Gregol coming down to bot lane, helping on out with that because we realized, hey, top lane not looking so hot. Mid lane still pretty even, so we got to help a lane win. Let's go down to bot. Let's help that out. And we got the dive on, and we got our 2 kills, and now we see Kiki's cannot really get in.
Olaf absolutely crushing Udyr.
Oh, it's yeah. Jack's crushing Udyr.
I mean, Jack's crushing Udyr, of course. Well, he can blame Olaf. He can be jungler's fault, always jungler's fault. Yeah, but that's going to be an issue for them because the big thing with Udyr, he's generally a safe lane. He does well against everyone, but your primary goal as Udyr is, one, win the lane and farm, and then, 2, as we said yesterday, just be tanky, and you just sit in the fight and you're tanky. Well, if Jax is beating him so badly, then all of a sudden Udyr can't be as tanky as he would like to be. He is going for Tiger Udyr, so he has a little bit more burst damage, and that is common in that top lane, but it does prevent him from building those fast tanking items. And so in those team fights, as we come forward, it might be kind of difficult for him to have the control that he would like to have. Yeah.
Let's take a look at Udyr's skills real quick. I want to see what he's maxed out first. So we got Tiger. So Tiger's top, Turtle second. And usually a lot of Udyrs, you see them max out Turtle stance first because they just want to, against bursty champs, because we just want to have the shield to resist the burst. But now, here we go. We got Veggie. Can we get in on Darren? Darren leap strikes over to Veggie to gain a little bit more distance away from Kiki's. We do not want to get stunned. He's got a good kit to get away, man. And he's way too far ahead for Kiki's to handle.
And you do usually max Tiger first. I mean, it gives you much better damage output and control of lane. It's just that when you have Tiger versus like a Phoenix, which is what you're doing in the jungle, then you can't buy tanking items as fast because you need to get some damage. Obviously he can buy tanky DPS items, but because he's a little bit behind on gold, it slows down his build, and that's the issue with the Tiger Udyr, is slowing down your build that you can't get in. But we'll have to see. Corki doing very well for himself will have really nice damage output through these mid-game fights, and if he has enough burst to make up for it, if the rest of his team can tank, and they do have the fight control from Kennen, then we could see if maybe that AoE damage from Corki really helps them work things out. But the concern is if they burst someone down like a Jax, who's already going to be incredibly tanky, then they're going to have to deal with the Zillion ultimate. They're going to have to deal with the fact that they have the Ashe initiation. That's something that M5 has the entire game. They get to decide when the fights happen for the most part. It's going to be difficult for exHCL to control that kind of tempo, and so we'll have to see whether or not M5 can take advantage of that.
Yep. So we saw Kiki's buy a Vamp Scepter earlier. I think the intention, the intent was out just to go ahead and buy Wriggles, but we actually get the Ruby Crystal, probably a Heart of Gold, but a really late Heart of Gold to be taking that back with you in the top lane. If and we realized we were losing the lane pretty early, so I worry about it's a little bit of a delayed purchase there on Kiki's, but we see Gregol here trying to get something in on Diamond Procs. Fear does not trigger. We get out of there just in time, but Alexich is there. He's in the bush trying to bait something out. We got the bomb here. Got Kiki's, the shield, Turtle and the Janus shield will be able to negate most of that, but Darian is out here in the middle. 3v3. Here comes the Ashe arrow. Just wow, how did that miss Alex? I don't understand that. But we got the ult here on Darian. Will he die? Yes, he will be revived. Now Kiki's realized, oh man, he's coming back. I should get out of here. And Gregol caught out in front.
Yeah, just barely going down in time, and so we did have the Dragon for exHCL, but now they're pretty low, and they do have Soraka for that sustain. They do have the kind of it's short range, but it's still a kind of poke from Zillion, and so they're able to wear them down a little bit. That could result in a farming advantage for Jax. He does have some free farm time, and obviously he's already in control of that top lane. But the concern is if we keep on having fights like this, then Nocturne and Jax, it's very easy to take Baron. And Jax can sustain himself very well through Baron, doesn't really have that issue. We have the Wriggles on Nocturne, that's obviously going to be strong. So if we have fights where they, actually we have Diamond Procs jumping onto Gregol, so forcing out the flash, not a lot of kill potential there. But if we have fights later where they're able to force exHCL back and M5's able to control the fights like that, very quickly that could result into a taken Baron for them.
Yeah, we got the arrow coming in, and we just zoom. Like it zooms like, hey, Alex is on your team. We don't want to be. We're not aiming for our own teammates here. We got to get through to the enemy team first off if we want to get these initiations. And so a little bit of a mistime there, and we were pretty close range also as well. But we were able to keep him back. We actually did manage to get the kill onto Noct. It was Jax who was revived that last fight, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we managed to get the kill on Jax, but this is where we see the ult in from Zilean now coming in, and it's like even if we do get caught, we were able to reset the fight here, and so now that is a concern for HCL, and the ult is actually almost back up already for Alex. So we'll see where that takes us, and that's much. We also have the Janna ult on HCL. We can also disperse fights there as well. But here we go. Darian now coming in. We got a 2v3 here. Veggie's trying to come in. We got Griggle with the ult, trying to keep everyone behind. We got the stuns on Darian, and we got bombs now. Alex is here. Griggle should be going down pretty quick. Bomb. 1 second. There we go. Just like delaying the inevitable. It's like, let me just get a
but Griggle coming in onto Genja. There's the exhaust underneath the tower, the slow, and then the heal for the volley. Griggle very close to going down.
The
heal saves him, but the volley after the flash. So really nice control from M5 there. Gosu Pepper and Genja able to get that.
Not up though.
But once the Soraka heal is up again, if they can keep Janna in range, they won't have that kill potential. In the meantime, we have this fast Baron, and that was the concern that we just have such great Baron potential from this team. With Kennen being down, with Corki now down in the bottom lane, they can easily take this. And Diamond Proc's actually getting low, but we will have the revive against Baron, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we're doing that intentionally. We just want to get him there. We just want to get a little bit more health. It's a heal. You're killing yourself to heal yourself, but hey, it works. It'll help us get Baron, and it's gonna be a little healthy.
Well, the ultimate is just so short on Zilean that. You can use it like
that.
How
long is it? Let's take a.
It's like 70 seconds, but you have the rewind. So
we do have the rewind.
140. So I was a little bit off, but when you use it, you don't even realize how short it is because you can just keep on popping rewind, and it's not that big of a deal. So it's like 40 seconds when you consider the rewinds.
Yeah, and if you really want to just keep on spamming rewind to just make sure that it's up for team fights coming up soon, just I have the mana available, it's off cooldown, rewind. Let's let's shorten it and make sure we're ready for the next team fight. But here we are. We got M5 with Baron. Pretty healthy gold lead as well, and Kiki's trying to do his best to farm up top lane here, but Darian's just not really having any of it. Now we actually got the slow triggered from the Trinity Force, trying to keep him from leaving. We pop the Ghost. We'll be able to get away, but very, very hurt.
Yeah, and the concern there is now because Jax is just so dominant in this game, obviously with the Baron buff on their team, he can split push the entire game. And, obviously he doesn't have a teleport, so he's not going to be able to be involved in fights if he decides to split push. But what he can do is he can 1v1 anyone in the game right now. Like, there's no one that can stand up to Jax. And so he can force, either I'm going to be taking your towers, or I'm going to be sitting here and farming, and there's nothing you can do about it, while the rest of his team goes on the other side and then has the initiation from Ashe and from Nocturne and the fight control from Zilean to try and pick up those kills. And so right now they seem to be kind of comfortable with just sitting back and see if they can get kills to continue pushing, but then they also have that late game potential, and they're always fine with just continuing to farm and wait for their opportunities.
Yep. Veggie now coming around, searching around the mid. Alex is a little bit too far pushed up. He's like, whoa, we're going to have a quick little engagement here. Ult is back up on Alex. We've got those rewinds. It's there. He's available to him. And and HCL recognizes this. Like, hey, he's going to come back. There's plenty of time for the rest of his team to come in here with Baron, and Nocturne ult is also up, so we can join the fight pretty quick. Just want to stay back, play defensive, camp the tower, wait out the Baron buff.
And right now we do see Gregol still pushing down this bottom lane. We actually have Nocturne getting kind of caught here. We've got Mr. Gregol and Veggie on top of him. Alex Itch trying to get in range for the ultimate, but Diamond Prox, he's actually over the wall, the ultimate with the vision, so he is able to get it real quick. He will come back, and now Darien coming into the fight can chase them away. Kiki's coming with Diamond Prox, but the arrow able to hit him, so they will pick up that kill, while Darien just monstering it up there, able to pick up Olaf, and then turning onto Kennen. Now Gregel is coming into the fight, but he cannot face against Darien, so he's got to get out of there, but he will be able to tank this. The ultimate from Super Ace, able to get him out of there, but once again, the leap strike coming in for the kills. Can he keep chaining this? He has the stun against Super Ace, so there's another one.
We got it. Darien's a pretty huge monster right now. We did have the Janna ult, but it can only push champs back so far, and Darien's leap strike on Jax is a fantastic engagement and re-engagement tool. We were pushed back. It's like, hey, let me just take a few steps, a few steps towards you. Oh, hey, I'm back in the fight. And we see, and we just fail. And he's also so far ahead right now. He's got the health to back him up. He's pretty tanky. He can slow down and engage and just hunt down and assassinate anyone he needs to on HCL in these team fights. But I think it all started off Alex getting the ult in on Diamond Prox just in time, like just within range. I'm sure he's like spamming the smart cast. I was like, no, live, damn it, live, and we got it.
Yeah. And so we do see M5, they have the turret advantage. They will be able to take this dragon. And now the issue is, how is exHCL going to deal with that Jax? Because he's just so strong. And then having the revive from Zilean, there's just not a whole lot of killing potential. And the concern, they want to get Olaf into that late game. Olaf obviously has a really strong late game as well. But against Jax, you have the stun, you have the dodge. That's going to be difficult for him to deal with. Corki is very strong as well, but it's just their whole team is just so tanky. They have Zeke's Herald for the regen for Jax, so he's going to have that lifesteal. He actually grabs the Warmogs, so not only does he have the Triforce, but he has the Warmogs. So he's already basically unkillable. We'll have the heals for the armor from Soraka.
And the health.
We have the Zeke's Herald, we have the health, then we have the revive from Zilean. And I don't know. Darien just going to be completely unstoppable this game. It's really hard to imagine that they're going to have enough damage to deal with him.
And this game may actually even be over before we even get the Atmas on him as well. We may not even need it. He's just too much of a beast already. He's doing way too much damage. He can't be taken down. And even in the off chance he does get caught, HCL comes down and kills him. Hey, Zillion's in town. Revive. Easy. We could really just Jax with the revive can really just maybe even take out the entire HCL team at this point.
Yeah, and you compare Darien with his 200 CS and how tanky and how much damage he has. You compare that with Udyr, and he's got a Phage, that's nice. He's got a late Heart of Gold, that's going to help him with some gold. But we actually have a fight coming on here. They do catch them out in the jungle here, and Jax on the bottom.
Jackson, we had a wonderful tornado from Janna, keeping M5 still in that choke point. Diamond Prox is being focused down, and we got Alex here. The revive was used, and it's not doing him a whole lot of good here. HCL actually getting a really good, real good team fight here. Ghost Pepper is being stunned out, but we're actually going to go ahead and leave. But see, Darien was not around. He's like, hey guys, I'm late. Can we do something about this? Does he have a ward? Can he jump over that? No, he can't.
But Ghosty Pepper actually going to stop Gregel from getting out of there. I'm not sure how he had vision. There is no ward. But actually just using the Q, he was just waiting for it to come up. And so actually there is a kill for Darien. But just kind of assuming that Kennen was up there.
Yeah.
And
it's a good guess, though. It's a good guess. I mean, if you ever see someone running in that direction, forward team fights either on red side on purple side, red buff on purple side or blue buff on blue side. Those you got the Tribush, you got the brush in a river, and you got the two top brushes. So like, okay. They couldn't have gotten far. We know we don't have vision on them, so they must be in either one of these. Let's take a guess. Let's just face check real quick to see if they're there. And sometimes they're there. Yeah,
and having the Starcoal to light up when you've got the nearby enemies, so he is able to just run around and be like, there you are.
Hey.
But yeah, so I mean that is an advantage for exHCL. We have the teleport in from Zilean. He wants that blue, so he's not going to let them have it. And actually, the whirlwind stopping the leap strike on Darien.
It stopped the movement, but it looks like it didn't even stop the damage, though. It's kind of odd, but hey, you know what? Damage is damage. We got it. And Alex is going to go ahead and secure the enemy blue for himself. Baron is up, and we see that everyone's just kind of starting to congregate around mid, getting ready for the next Baron fight. Darien is just such an unstoppable beast, man. But he needs to stick with the rest of the team. Otherwise, we could see HCL catch up in the kills. But even though M5, they're 10k ahead in gold, they're pretty ahead of themselves right here. And M5 now going in for Baron. The ward is in the pit. HCL knows, so they're going to do their best to try and contest it. But we don't even need all of M5 here to take down this Baron. We did it earlier without the entire team. We can do it again. We got the Ash Arrow coming in on Mr. Grego, and we got the Nocturnal here to finish the job as well. Genja is now up in front. We got the revive on him just in case. Looking at, we got the kill on the Genja while the Chrono Shift did end. Darian is now engaging here on Kiki's Diamond Proxy, now also out in front. We got the Janna ult just a tad too late, and now Corki being caught. He should be going down shortly, and Super A's, you might want to get out of there and save that Oracles. Nope, we got the flash coming in from Darian. Nice tornado. I think we may actually still see a die, though. We got the jump, we got the empower, and the slow from the Trinity Force is going to be a little bit too much, and that is an ace for M5, and they can actually still grab this Baron.
Yeah, and I mean, even though they were able to pick up the Ashe, you saw Genja just being really aggressive up front while his team was taking Baron, and he's kind of baiting it, and he's like, whatever, you're going to kill me? Well, then you're going to have no abilities to take down Darian, and Darian is just such a monster right now. They hardly got him low at all. He was able to just chase them down, clean up the fight. Now having this Baron, everyone does respawn in time, actually, to pick it up. So we have everyone grabbing the Baron, which is going to be nice. But, again, he has so much gold. How much does he have currently? Another 3K. So
what's his total? What is his total? It's huge.
His total's 12K right now. So he has some gold.
He's got a little bit. He's got some petty cash available.
So instead of getting like an Atmos for damage, he just gets another Warmugs. He knows he already has plenty of damage, and so now with just how much HP he has from the first one and then from the second one as well, there's just no way that they're going to be able to deal enough damage. Like, they have no way of disabling him, so he's going to, once the exhaust is down, he's going to be like, okay, I'm attacking Corki nonstop, and maybe Corki gets 1,000 damage off to me. Well, I have 5k HP right now.
Yeah. What is he, Mundo? Come on.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. It's gotten sheer ridiculous okay, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's okay. This game's gotten ridiculous.
7-0-5, 240 CS. He has 5k HP. He has the Zeke's Herald from Soraka, and obviously the heals. It's not looking good. I mean, this exHCL, they had a decent early game. Obviously, Jax just stomping Udyr top very early on, but Corki did very well bottom. Unfortunately, Jax is just so fed, and he's just such a strong late game carry that there's nothing you can do about it. And you have to consider Jax's ultimate, it gives him armor and magic resist. So he doesn't need to be building, any armor or magic resist because he already has it. So just building pure, tankiness, they just don't have the damage to deal with it. I mean, HP counters
most things.
It counters out magic damage. It counters out true damage. So like Olaf's true damage works well against Jax with his ultimate early on, but once he gets all this HP, it doesn't even matter. And so we actually have the arrow from Genja coming onto Gregel, and there's the initiation from Diamond Prox. Diamond Prox will go down, but unfortunately there is Darian for them to deal with, jumping into the middle of the team. He's going to pick up the one kill. There's Ashe. Then he grabs Olaf, coming onto Gregel. He's actually pretty close to getting down. They almost took him down, but unfortunately, Mr. Gregel going to hit the bomb. The heal actually in the shield.
Just in time.
Just able to do it, but now M5 going to grab the inhibitor here for this game.
So yeah, we had all the focus going in on Diamond Prox and on a Darian being very effective tanks. We do have a fair amount of burst on the HCL, but you know what? Once again, we got Alex with the revive doing everything he needs to. We got both these Nexus turrets going down. They should be able to take this one. Game 1 going to be going to Moscow 5. Fantastic job, guys. Good stuff.